talk about Shavuot. Shavuot, we got the Torah. Hashem came down on the mountain and announced His commandments to us. He told us, He's the one. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, lo yeh lecha. He said 2 words, 2 whole sayings with 1 breath. It sounded like 1 word. Shamer v'zachar b'dibur echad. Many such anomalies that we deal with over here. Positive and negative energy, all in one. The entire cycle going back and forth. We usually give energy one way, and the energy in return is not guaranteed. We don't know how our outcomes. We can only do our work that we have to do. Hashem, Anochi Hashem, lo yeh lecha. It's all in one. It's all in one, and that's His greatness. Hashem is above all, and we have the Torah. We need to have the duality between back and forth in order to be able to learn. As we see, the Gemara says in Masechtas Taanis 23a, Oy chabrusa, oy misusa. Either I have a partner, or I'll die. It's that simple. The Gemara in Masechtas Makkos 10a says, Cherev alabadim, a sword for those who learn alone. Asher ne'elnu v'ashchatanu brings a different pasuk that they become foolish and they end up sinning because they learn alone and they don't have the proper answers. What goes on? We have to understand what goes on in the brain. Why does that happen? We need to have that pull and tug, that give and take in order to make things happen. So let's get into that. So we have people over here. This entire world's full of people. We're all humans. We all try to do our best. We all want to be the best version of ourselves. Sometimes, though, we are driven by certain moods. Sometimes we could do something. We could be on a drive of doing one certain thing for a certain amount of time just because we are reacting. Somebody gets us upset, and we go ahead and we work on that anger. We live on that anger, and our entire motive and drive is based on that anger. And then there is the same for a mitzvah. Somebody tries to do something good. His mother asks him to do him something. For the next 2 hours, he's there for his mother. He's there for someone, an elderly person. He's doing something for the sake of the community. All these things, as you start doing them, the physical work of doing it puts you into a drive of a certain amount of time that will allow you to complete that task. And of course, the beginnings are hard, getting out of bed, going out and doing it. But the second you start, they become part of your life. And that life is called reaction. Okay? We are in control of our own actions, not our moods. Our moods should not be controlling our actions, because then our actions turn into reactions. Okay? So we need to have a chavrusa. We need to have somebody with us. Why is that? Because every person sees the world differently. Everybody has a different perspective of life. Everybody has different stories that they went through, and they see the world differently because of that. They think about the world differently. They understand the world differently. And when we speak to them, when we learn with them, when we grow with them, we don't just think about ourselves. We don't just get engulfed into the misery that we deal with and don't know how to get out of it. Because when I tell my story to a friend, I talk about my hard day. It's not their hard day. As much as they care for me, as much as they are close to me and want to help me out with everything they can, they are not me. And the story I'm telling them is not theirs. It's not theirs. For them, it's as if somebody comes over and says, imagine they come into a classroom and the teacher says, let me tell you all a metaphor. And the metaphor that is being told is exactly your life. The teachers are standing there and talking about a certain person going through very big difficulty financially, has a very hard time with his addictions and his urges. And you're like wondering, is the teacher talking about me? But if you look around, you'll notice you're not the only one in the room feeling uncomfortable, because we all go through similar stuff, although everybody has a different sequence of events. Even people who go through the same things don't go through it at the same time. And if someone's going to go through A when they're 20 and B when they're 30, they will build B on the lessons of A, right? Because A happened first. But what if we have someone in reverse who had B at 20 and A at 30? They will build their lessons based on B, and A will have a different result. Okay? So different people have different stories. And when we hear a story that resembles ours, it awakens our emotions. But what are we going to do? Right now we hear somebody else's story. We hear it as a metaphor. So it has nothing to do with us. It really doesn't. It's somebody else's story. What could we do? Let's hear the ending of the story. How did this person get out of this problem? How did they help themselves? What were the steps that they took in order to make their life better and come out of this problem? And why not copy them? Why not emulate their path? If they were successful, why not us be successful the same way as they were if they have similar stories? So when a friend hears me talk about my problems, or when I hear my friend talking about their problems, and so you with yours, and everybody with their own, as much as we are attached to it, as much as we are connected to it, it's still separate. And we have the ability to see things from our point of view and maybe say, how about you try this? I had something similar to your story in my life, or I heard a story from my teacher, or I read a book somewhere, I watched a video somewhere that gave me insight on exactly what you're talking about, or similar to what you're talking about, and listen to my perspective. Maybe let's try enacting it. Maybe let's see if this could become the reason for your salvation, the reason for you to rise above the problem. So yeah, friends are very important. It's very important to have very close friends. We pay for therapy a lot, and therapy it's important. You get to talk, you get to open up, you get to admit to the most shameful things, and you get to accept the things that you know about yourself. You start learning about yourself. Therapy is great, and but at some point in life, you find yourself like, I'm a regular person. I know what I want. I know that I have problems. I know that I have issues and struggles. I could go to therapy, but there's nothing really I'm going to learn, because I'm not going to the past. I'm not going to dig up everything that happened and be angry at all and everything. I've already gotten the words. I already articulated everything in my mind. So right now, it's all about me living right now. Living in this moment requires a good friend, because not every moment is amazing. Not every moment are we on a water slide. And we just got to take care of ourselves. We got to have somebody who listens, somebody who has a perspective, and maybe even a couple of someone's. But let's not get carried away. We need people in our lives. Of course, the wife is a person that should be everything. We could work on our relationships, learn of each other's personalities, bounce off each other, have the experience of both people, their point of view, their perspective, guide each other in the proper way and build upon each other. When I'm down, pick me up. This one's down, pick me up. And we keep on building higher and higher. To talk about the wife, we could go in a lot, because maybe one day we'll do something on the Chadoidi. It'll be beautiful. Taking every verse, breaking it, every stanza, breaking it up. It would be beautiful. Learning all about the femininity of our faith, of our belief, our tradition. The femininity is huge, as we know. Like, okay, we'll get into it another time. But then we have good friends that we get to share with and connect with. And sometimes we have friends to listen. Sometimes we have friends for us to listen, just so we could learn and gain knowledge. That's what the Torah teaches us. How? Moshe Rabbeinu went up to heaven for 40 days times 3, 120 days. It's interesting with the Meraglim. They went into Eretz Yisrael for 40 days, and for that, the Yidden had to stay in the desert for 40 years. Moshe Rabbeinu was in heaven for 120 days, and he lived for 120 years on earth. And it's interesting to think about. If you want to make some correlation over there, there's places to go. But he went up to heaven. Being up in heaven means detaching one's self from physicality. And as Moshe Rabbeinu says, Lechem lo echalti imam l'shasisi. I didn't eat bread. I didn't drink any water. I was completely undressed from physicality. He went into the theoretical world. He went into the world of trying to understand what's going on. What is the fabric of the world made of? What is the truth? What is the 100% belief that a person should have in this world? And he got there. He saw Hashem. Hashem crossed over the mountain, and Moshe Rabbeinu saw him. Moshe Rabbeinu's face lit up for the rest of his life, and he had to wear like a mask or a veil in order to cover it. You have a level of spirituality that a physical person was able to reach, and we could all become Moshe Rabbeinus. Of course, it requires a lot of devotion, and it requires understanding our situation. Our situation here on earth is a physical one, and we were given a certain life, a certain path to walk. And some of us is to have a wife and kids. Some of us to be single for the time being. And everybody in their own personal life right now, they have to figure out exactly what could I give to Hashem. What part of me? How much of my life can I give away to Hashem? And advice to someone who's looking for such a life. As he goes dating, he should clarify that this is the life he wants, so that way he could go in with his wife into this amazing journey of growth and connection to Hashem, and they will definitely share a great spot up in heaven, and that's beautiful. But Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to heaven. He goes into a very spiritual realm, and now he has to come back down to the physical world. Why? Because everything he learned up there were commandments. They were things what to do on earth in order to live. Okay, remember, The Torah was up in heaven. The Gemara in Masechta Shabbos 88, 89 talks about the Gemara was up in heaven. The Torah was up in heaven, and the Malachim, the angels, wanted to keep it, and they had this whole face-off, this whole showdown with Moshe Rabbeinu. They had this entire back and forth, and Moshe had to hold on to the throne of Hashem and answer them. His answers were, do you have a father and a mother? You don't have a father and a mother, so why do you want the Torah? You don't have Loiser Tzach, you can't kill each other, so what do you want? So you see, physicality is a very important part of having the Torah. The Torah is not just theoretical, it's meant for action. So Moshe Rabbeinu goes up, and then he has to come back down. Coming back down means bringing all these lessons into life, making it part of our day. And that's what we got to do. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up there. Who does he hang out with? Who does he spend time with? He spends time with Hashem, the best chavrusa ever, right? Now, for us, as we go up, as we go and try to deal with our past, we try to learn, we try to understand things, we have a certain perspective, we have a certain point of view of life that guides us in a certain direction. Our mind takes us in certain paths. And sometimes we try to focus on one thing, but our minds are so strong, it just takes us to the wrong path, and we end up, closing the Gemara or stopping our work in order to chase whatever thing just came up in our mind. Either an addiction, or even sometimes just to be nice to another person, but we stop certain things because we have certain priorities. And our priorities have to be set straight. And our priorities are meant to be used in the physical form. Let's not get lost in the thoughts. Let's not get lost in the theoreticals, because this life is about living. Avraham Avinu understood that Hashem exists when he was 3 years old, right? According to one way in the Gemara, he was 3 years old when he understood that Hashem was here. That Hashem created the world. So why did he still have to live another 172 years? What did he still need to do on this earth? If he got to the highest theoretical point of understanding belief and getting there and being that person and disassociating himself from earth, why did he have to come back? Because this earth is meant to live. And as many times as I'm going to stress it, it's hard for people to hear that, oh, I'm going to go to therapy and I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to do certain medicines and they're going to help me out. There is no one button fix all. It's a series of many steps, and steps of many years and even a lifetime. And sometimes it could be like in stages, 5, 10 years, and then you move on to the next 5 and 10 years, and then the next 5 and 10 years. Eventually you see, oh wow, these 30 years are actually one big story. I didn't even realize. I thought I was just going through my finances for 10 years, marriage for 10 years, kids for 10 years, and then I realized, wow, this is one big story. We have to live physically in order to gain our perspective on earth, in order for us to be able to use our talents properly. We have talents. We were sent here on this earth in order to do things, in order to make things happen, in order to change it, in order to make that my generation should leave the world at a higher level for the next generation, so they could take it even higher. The literature we add, the way of life we bring into the streets, and just the ability to smile, the ability to keep ourselves happy and content with our life. It's very important. And for that, we need to have a chavrusa. We need to have somebody who sits down and learns with us. Moshe Rabbeinu comes down from the mountain and he says, Jews, Yidden, we're going to learn. Everybody, I'm going to introduce you to something amazing. Come on in and listen. And of course, he starts off with Bereshis. He says, in the beginning, before we start anything, I want you to understand why you're here. How was this all created? What's our destiny? What's our tachlis on earth? And we get there. The Yidden go through 40 years, and at the end they stand at the edge of the midbar, the edge of the desert, ready at the Jordan to cross over. And Moshe Rabbeinu gives them the bracha and says, yes, Hashem is Sinai ba, v'zarach miseir lamai. Hashem came from Sinai. The knowledge of Hashem was given to us on Sinai, and we carry that throughout our generations, with friends, with our chavrusas, in order for us to grow in that realm, in order for us to be better people over here in this physical world. And then Moshe says, Hashem tells Moshe, after we blow the shofar, after Matan Torah, tell the Yidden, now they could climb the mountain as well. Until then, let's not climb yet. Stay in the bottom, listen, learn, gain the perspective, understand what we're doing over here. Once you understand, remove the gates, start climbing, make it to the top. Have a wonderful Shavuos. My name is Dovi Lemmer. I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments, let me know. Share with my growth. I appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me if I could build on your feedback. And yeah, have a wonderful Yom Tov. And I'll see you next time. Be well.